Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds, and we are doing a What Sold video, the trying to get back into the routine of it, What Sold video. And sales weren't terrible, honestly. I mean, for basically doing very little work, it went okay, so that was nice. But before I get into a little more about that, I do want to touch base on my previous video. I haven't quite had it in me to respond to comments yet. I hope to get there, but I do need to tell you guys thank you. I need to tell you that thank you doesn't feel like enough because it was so kind how all of you that commented and sent messages just meant a lot to me. And so I just thank you for being a part of this community with me and helping be a support for me during this difficult time. I was blown away by the response and the kindness of people and essentially strangers, people that haven't met me or I just, it was just, it was something special. It was really special. So it meant a lot to me and it helped me find the moment to convince myself to start up more videos. So it just something I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting anything to come of that video. I just felt I needed to share what was happening to all of the people that have supported me, to let them know why I'm not doing as much as I was, and just there's not really words. So from that, I'm getting by. I am still not working like I should and not doing as much as I suppose I should, but I'm trying. I'm shipping each day. I've done a tiny bit of sourcing. I've done a very tiny bit of listing. Last week was a very tiny bit. This week I'm trying to do a little more, and I'm just trying to do a bit more each day that I can. And I'm kind of giving myself until February to just figure it out and try to just push forward. And it's also hard as being home all day. I'm so grateful that I have this job because I was able to drop everything and be there for the things I needed to be. But it's also hard as you sit home alone, especially as I sit home alone with my bloodhound and I can see his spirit. He misses his brother. He really misses him. And it's but we're getting by. We take walks, and I'm doing a little more this week, and I'm doing this video, and I'm gonna try to maybe do another video for the weekend. I really want to do that one to let you guys know how much YouTube paid me, because I think it's interesting to share and good information for others out there, so I'm gonna try to tackle that as well. But to give you a little bit of stats of what I sold last week, and keep in mind, guys, I pretty much, I haven't listed much for a while, and I haven't done much with my eBay. So I am extremely fortunate that I sold what I did. I mean, it blew me away. I sold 50 listings on eBay and a couple on Poshmark and one on Mercari, I believe. And I think one on Depop maybe. Can't quite remember, but the 50 listings sold for a gross on eBay of about $1,600. And I mean, that's better than some of the weeks I had at the beginning of last year. I'm only down a couple percent from this time last year. So I'm incredibly fortunate that things are okay right now. So that's why I need to push forward and I need to keep my business going. I want something that the people I've lost can be proud of. I want to have them be proud of what I've done. And if you hear snoring, it might not register, but Bloodhound's snoring so loud right now. But let's go ahead and get started, and I'll share some what solds with you. Thank you again, guys. Okay, so here we are back in the swing of things, and This is a Reno Air Races 2004 pin enamel airplane Nevada collectible, and this sold for a best offer of $17. And I'm from Reno Sparks, and so that's why I'm able to find some things like this easily. And they aren't doing the air races there anymore, so these are becoming a little more collectible. And I actually pulled this off of a hat no one wanted at an estate sale. Like, I bought the hat and then just sold the pin, and so I only have $1 into it. Sorry, my throat's still. I got the flu, and then while everything was happening, I think it turned into pneumonia. So I'm still kind of my voice is still trying to recover from all that. And this is Letters to Gail by Paul Twitchell. And this was volume 1 and 2. I do believe there's a third volume that's more valuable, but this lot sold for $24.95. Sold very quickly. I just have a couple dollars into these. These are Funko Wacky Wobblers, Archie and Jughead. And I put these two together because they weren't super valuable. I picked up a chunk of these, all for $3 each except one. And others were more valuable, so I have $6 into this lot. I still made money, but I did have some other more valuable ones. And they took a few months to sell. They've been listed for a little bit. These are Laufer Magnum dinner knives, and I've talked about this pattern before in my stainless flatware videos, and these sold for a best offer of $22. And then next one. And this one is a squirrel nutcracker, silver toned, sitting on log, works, animal, nutcracker, as 2 words. This sold for $10.16. I don't know that I would ever do this one again. I think I paid $1 for it, but I think it sat for 2 or 3 years. I did realize part of the problem was it was so old that I'd never actually managed to get it switched over Ground Advantage, so it only had priority as an option. So that definitely hindered it, but this definitely took quite a while to sell, because it was listed, a while before that too. This is an Easton Press book. It's Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. And this one I got from my source that I got the Grateful Dead bears from. And so I bought a chunk of Easton Press books, and I paid $10 a piece. And that averaged out pretty decently. Some of them are selling for like $15, but I have some higher value ones. So in some aspects I paid up a little, but it's really nice inventory and they've sold quickly. But I have some other ones that are higher value. So I believe it all evened out, even paying more than I typically would at 10 a piece. But this one sold for 40, so this was a nice profit. And, it was only listed a couple weeks if you take out the time my store was shut down. This is Forcefield EX-K shoulder protectors, believe for motocross, and I got these at the thrift store. I could not believe it. I found the chest one as well, and as well as elbow pads, and I couldn't believe what these sold for because I just happened to look them up. And this sold for $50, and I paid $8 at the thrift store and paid $8 for the other 2 things I got too, and it was just a really nice find. So definitely look for the motocross kind of stuff. This is a Dodge Ink brass trophy, not engraved, and this one, I can't remember what this sold for, if it was full price or not. If it wasn't, it wasn't anything less than $30, so somewhere between $30 and $40 on this one. And I paid $4 for this at a thrift store, and it has taken a significant amount of time to sell. Probably, I don't know, well, maybe not, maybe 8-ish to 10 months. This is a Lazuli Vintage Collection picture frame, enamel floral. This was a petite 3x3. I just took a best offer of $12, and that is another thing. Again, I keep saying I'm taking a lot of offers, especially because I'm not putting into my store the effort that I used to. I'll get there, in the coming weeks, but right now I'm just not. And so I'm taking offers to keep my store going and just trying to move inventory. And I'm going to probably dip down below 2,000 listings right now because I'm just above 2,000 at the moment. And so I also put a sale onto my store. So I'm just trying to give it as much as I can right now. And I did list yesterday, and I'm going to list some today. So just little bits at a time. And this is Daniel in the Lion's Den 2001 Hallmark Keepsake Ornament. This sold for $11.95. And I've had this a long time. This wasn't the best buy. I paid $1.99. It's probably gone through 2 Christmases now, but it's sold, so it's fine. I do want to mention, just because any bit helps right now, I do have my Amazon affiliate links. If you click those links in my description, anything you purchase for the next 24 hours after clicking, I will get a small commission on. Just any bit of that helps right now as I'm continuing to get my business back up and running. And I need to update those links. I need to go through and update the products, and I have lots of other products I'm using now that I haven't been sharing on there, so that's also my goal in February, is just to start to update those products so you really start to know what I'm using. And this is a Scentsy Buddy Disney Lion King Simba. I picked this up with a lot of Scentsy stuff on Facebook Marketplace, so I think I have $4 to $5 into this, so paid up a little bit in the lot to an extent, but this sold, did I say $24.95? No, it sold for a little less. It was 10% off of that, somewhere in the $22 range or so, and I'm fine with that profit. It was really easy to pack. These ones are always why you look at estate sales and dig, because I went to this estate sale that was kind of out a bit from me, and there was a decent amount of people, and they were frantic. They were grabbing and shooing and pushing, and I just went into this corner, this dark, dank corner in this shed garage thing, covered in dust, covered in dirt, and started looking at the books, and managed to find these couple of books there. So I don't have a lot into these, probably 5 to 10 at the most total for them. And they're Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1914 reprint of 1984. They were not in great condition. I took a lot of pictures. I made that very clear, but they sold for $150. Because it made me think of the Black's Law Dictionary that I've sold a couple times before, so that's why I happened to look it up at this sale. And so just be willing to dig through stuff. Be willing to be dirty. My allergies hit me so hard digging through it, but it was worth it. And this is Oneida Damask Rose Cube Mark Heirloom Teaspoons. I picked this lot up of this pattern off of Facebook Marketplace as well. I managed to get a couple decent Facebook Marketplace pickups in November, December area. And hoping I can get some more here coming up as I start to look more. And this lot and this lot sold for $46 altogether for 6 teaspoons. And to put in perspective, I paid $50 for the lot of them. This is a Grateful Dead Warlock Bear. I took a best offer of $35, a little lower than I wanted for him, but $35 is good money, and I paid $4. I think I probably have 30 to 40 left of the Grateful Dead bears. This is a Stanley Roberts Spectrum Navy Blue Handle Teaspoons lot of 3. I took a best offer of $18 for this, and there's a couple places that I think there's 2 places that I've picked up this pattern and color before, and so it was either from a Goodwill or it was an estate sale. Either way, I didn't pay a lot for this. This is a 1996 Trendmaster Star Castle Swan Bubble Coach Magical Friends, unused. Package wasn't in great condition. That's why I put used, because there were some breaks in the plastic and just wasn't perfect. And it did sell for $18.66, and it sold pretty quickly, probably within a month, and I paid $3 at a thrift store. This is a Goat Gerald Aurora plush stuffed animal sitting to 2018 Hanging Heart Valentines. Sold for $18.95, the full asking price. I think it's been listed for a couple of years, but I know I probably only paid $1 or $2 for him. This one did make me cry when it sold, because I kind of wanted to keep it because my little boy was named Dudley. And I think this is why they named him Dudley, the previous owners, because he came to us when he was about 10 months old. And so I almost canceled this sale. But I'm okay that I didn't. It was just that it was either the day of or the day after I lost him. And so it was just that little heart pang when you see it. But it's a Funko Wacky Wobbler, Dudley Do-Right figure, Rocky and Bullwinkle. It sold for $25.46. I have 3 into this, but if I ever find another one, I'll have to keep it. Yeah. my little boy was a Dudley. My bloodhound's named Opie. I don't talk about that a lot. He's after the Andy Griffith Show or Sons of Anarchy, whichever one you want. This is Department 56 Snow Babies, a Christmas cherry on top Snow Baby figurine, and it's just sold for best offer of $15. I paid a couple dollars at a thrift store for it. It's been listed for a while. I probably could have got a little more if I waited even longer, but $15 is $15 right now. This again, it ended up not being that low of an offer, but I just took it because, again, $25 is $25, and this has definitely been listed for a year plus and gone through a cycle through winter already, and it's a North Face Pomori jacket, blue full zip men's Polar Tech fleece. $25 for it. I can't honestly tell you what I paid for this, but it probably wasn't very much. This is a lot of 8 vintage antique Salt Lake City, Utah postcards. And I sold this for $9. I got this in my box of postcards that I got the Lake Tahoe and Fallen Leaf Lake postcards in. And so I have like tiny pennies into this. And it sold. It took a long time though. Postcards aren't a fast mover, but they'll move. This is an Elf Pixie Knee Hugger Metallic Silver Gold Lot Christmas Holiday Vintage. These were only listed like a day. I could have got my $40 if I waited, but they had some condition issues, and I had a buyer that really wanted them. $35 is $35. You know, it's funny the things you have sitting in your death pile. I knew I needed to get these listed. I just never got to them, and this was one of the few things I listed last week and sold very quick. This is a Samurai Jack Season 3 Collector Series DVD. This came out of my media buy that I did, so $1 into it. Sold for $16.96. Took some months to sell. This is a Dixon Workforce Suicidal Tendencies button-up short sleeve shirt, and it sold for best offer of $34. This came out of my Dixon buy where I bought 16 Dixon shirts to sell, and I had $12.50 into each of them, and that's a pretty decent price for men's larger size Dixons, especially if you have more of the limited edition ones. I'm not making as much money on this lot because my partner, he took 4 of them. I mean, I'm happy he did. They're beautiful quality and they look nice, so happy he took them. But this did sell for $34, $12.50 into it. I sold one. I don't have this one because it sold either the week before or it sold when I wasn't showing you, and it was the Misfits one, and it sold for $90, which was really nice. This is an antique deep well walnut wood frame. About $3 or so into this came out of my frame buy. I have a lot of frames I need to get listed. I think I'm gonna start getting them onto Facebook Marketplace at a lower price, just because the packing, the shipping cost and the packing, it just deters it a little bit. But this sold for $29.71. This is The Return of the King, a story of the Hobbits read-along book record Disneyland. When I'm sad, it's just one of my happy places is watching Lord of the Rings, and we're watching that right now. We're on Return of the King, actually. Are we? Yeah, we're on Return of the King right now, I think. So it's just always been a happy place for me watching those movies. But this sold for $25.46. I got this so I went to a thrift store and there was a box of these. One of the old child record totes that was like Mickey and Minnie. Unfortunately, the top was ripped off, so it wasn't worth selling the tote that they came in, but I got a bunch of these records, and so I pulled out all the ones that were worth, I think, like $10 or more for the most part, and then lotted up the rest, and I paid $12 for the tote, which, you know, seems like a lot to some people, but this one paid for double of that, and just a cute little fun find. I think I got the Fellowship of the Ring too. Anytime you find this version of there's records that have this, you'll see this graphic, so you start to know this era. These ones sell for a lot. I sold the record before, and it was really good. I think like $75. But definitely these here, there's see, hear, read, because it's a book, and then the record you can play with it. Sorry, I'm long-winded, and my mind is still not moving like it should. I was talking on the phone today, and your brain just kind of just short circuits. You can't think of words. I couldn't think of the simplest word today, and it's so, just trying to get through that, the brain fog. But this is a brass unicorn trivet, MSR imports from 1981. Just some other keywords: mythical, fantasy, home, kitchen decor. And it sold for $20.36. I believe I paid $2.99 at the thrift store for this. And it took a little while to sell, but it's fine. This is a Promise Keepers KJV, King James Version, Men's Study Bible. And it sold for $21.21. It definitely took some time to sell. I think it's been listed, it's been listed for a while. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it probably wasn't any more than $2.99 if I got it at the thrift store. Here's one of my bigger Grateful Dead bears, and it's Jack-A-Row, and it was a 14-inch one that sold for $50.96. I have a lot of the higher dollar ones left right now of the Grateful Dead bears. All my $10, $12, $15 ones sold pretty quick. So a lot of my higher ones are left, which is fine. They'll just take some time to sell. Here's more of those records. These ones weren't worth 10 or more a piece, so I just lotted them up. They're the lot of 8 Walt Disney See, Hear, Read Along books, records, Star Wars, Rainbow Bright, sold for $16.96. And I think I made 2 of those lots. This is an Aurora Big Eye Chihuahua plush dog 10-inch stuffed animal, sold for $14.41, and I think I remember paying $2 for this. And here's just a couple Poshmark sales. Oops, scrolled up. This one was a really nice sale on Poshmark. It's a Jim Shore Heartwood Creek 2011 dog golden retriever Kibby figurine. And I'm glad this made it, because another little story, I got the call about my dad, and that night I had to pack, I think it was 25 orders, and I had to pack all these orders, pack a bag, and then be ready to leave on a plane at 3, or leave the house here to drive to the airport at like 3:30 in the morning. So it was, I did not sleep that night. It was a whirlwind trying to get on the plane to go back to the Midwest. And I remember this was like the last one I packed before I shut everything down. But it sold for $70. It was a very nice little bit of money to get in at that last moment. And I paid $8 at a thrift store for this. I just looked it up because sometimes these Jim Shore dog, cats, etc., I like to pick them up, but a lot of them are the $12, $15, $20 range. And so these next 3 are going to look very similar. And that's because I had a buyer come and buy all 3 of these frames at once. It's Hollywood Regency stand-up metal picture frames. They're vintage, and there was 3 of them. 1 was larger, 2 were smaller. They came in and offered me $42 on Poshmark, and I could not accept it fast enough to get those 3 frames out of here. But it was a nice profit. I know that typically when my mother-in-law and I find these, we don't pay more than $1 for them a piece. So that was a nice profit. Do keep in mind this style, though, it does take some time to sell. These have been listed probably a year, maybe. So guys, that is actually everything I have to share with you today. Again, I am very thankful for the sales I had this last week, and I'm still having some sales this week. So I'll have another What Sold video, and I'm gonna keep trying to do some listings. I figured even if I can get just a few up a day until February, that it's something, and that little bit will start to matter. So thank you again, everyone, for your kindness, comments, and patience as I navigate everything, and I will see you on the next video.